Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with another Frankening session. So as you know, I have my palette right here, which is a palette that I'm trying to finish this year, and I did in the last update finish up one of my Franken shades. So if you haven't checked out my palette update, by the way, go and check that out first because I'm gonna spoil it otherwise. But this is what the palette looks like on the inside, and I did finish up the shade that was in this pan right there, which was a Franken between sienna and a white eyeshadow. And since I really enjoy that shade, I want to do the same again to have a higher chance of finishing up sienna this year. So that's what I'm going to do with this palette. Also, I'm going to take the shade Glistening in this pan right there, and I want to use that to Franken a highlighter. So in my yellow rolling product pan, I recently rolled in the shade up here from my Sleek Solstice palette. I'm currently trying to finish that one, but as soon as that's done, I'm going to move on to try to finish this one. But as you can see, this is quite, I don't know, it's very icy, purpley type of highlighter. You can see it right there. It's a very icy highlighter. And I'm hoping that the shade Glistening will like warm it up a little bit and like tone it down, as you might be able to see right there. And I think that's going to work quite nicely. So I'm going to use that shade and some of the purple highlighter to try to make a new highlighter. I don't know how much of the purple one I will use. It depends on like when I get the right tone, but that is my plan for today. So before jumping into the Frankening between these two, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. Alright, so I think I'm going to start with the Soft Glam palette. You start by doing sienna first, and then move on to Glistening, I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and start scraping some of sienna out. I'm going to zoom in first so you can see it a little bit better. So whenever I do scrape like this, I do kind of try to go evenly across the pan just so I don't get like any pan expansions or hole or anything in the pan. So I'm trying to go as evenly as I can. And I'm going to try to start with that amount. Maybe I'll do a little bit more. Alright, so that is the product right there, and that is the pan. Definitely didn't really expand the pan. I did just lower down the sides, so I'm happy with that. And I did put out quite a lot of product, but I did really enjoy that Franken, so I don't mind having a bit more of it. But it also means I'm going to pull in quite a lot of this white. So this white, by the way, comes from Sydney Grace. It's the shade Snow Queen. I do actually have two of these. I have one in my standard magnetic palette, which I use for eyeshadow. And this is just one that I use for Frankening, just because I got this as a free gift with purchase and I thought it would be useful. So yeah, I'm just taking in a lot of this. I think I'm going to need quite a bit because last time I used quite a lot of white. I think I used more white than I did of that other shade, but I'm going to start right there and see how it looks once I mix this up. Alright, so here we have it, and I'm gonna go ahead and swatch it to see what it looks like. Okay, I like that shade already. I think it's a good peachy toned transition shade, so I think I'm happy with that. I'm gonna go ahead and pour this into the empty pan, same as the pan I used before, and we're gonna go ahead and add some alcohol to it. And there we have it. This is the stainage. So that is what the pan looks like now. I'm gonna go ahead and add some alcohol, which I have in this container right here. And the stopper still doesn't work on this one. I need to get a different container. I do have one empty now, but I haven't actually cleaned that out. So I need to just be gentle and pour it in again like last time. And I'm gonna try not to put in too much, because that is what happened last time. Alright, so we got a couple of drops in there. I think that might be a good amount. So let me start mixing it up. Actually, I'll need a little bit more alcohol than that. Alright, so there we go. Let me mix it up now. So there we have that, and I try to even it out as much as I can, and I'm gonna go ahead and just press this down. I'm gonna start by just using my fingers. Yeah, okay, so it's not too wet, that's good. I need to actually get something that can fit into this pan and press it down, because I can't really reach properly with my fingers. Alright, so I found this Chanel lipstick, and this one I think can fit in there perfectly, so I'm gonna go ahead and press this down a little bit. And there you have the eyeshadow. I'm really happy. It's probably about the same amount of product as last time, so it's not going to take hopefully too long to finish. But yeah, I'd rather do that and keep frankening than frankening too much and not getting it used up. But yeah, I'm really happy. I feel like I did about the same as last time, because I remember when it was wet it looked very similar to Dusty Rose, and that's the case this time too. So I'm really happy, and that was the swatch of it right there. You can see it on my hand. So of course I'm going to let this dry, and then I will do some footage for my next Pan palette update, but that shade is now done. We're going to come back to that palette in a second, but I'm just going to clean up this kind of paper so I can reuse it for the highlighter without getting any of these dark pigments in. Okay, I'm such a doofus, I can just turn the paper around, so I'm going to do that instead. But I'm going to move on to the highlighter next. So what I'm going to do for the highlighter is I'm actually going to go ahead and remove all of glistening. I just feel like I don't really like this shade on my eyes very much. It's too satiny, I don't really have a use for it. And I feel like this will work perfectly as a frankening for that highlighter. So I'm just going to take the whole thing. And then once that highlighter, frankening highlighter is done, I can count this shadow as done too. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to dump this all out. Alright, so that is basically out. I might use the last reminiscences of like this in one look. But yeah, that is that highlighter, which means that this palette is now done. And we're going to move on to the Sleek Stolzes palette. Before I do so, I think I'm just going to go ahead and kind of break up this powder a little bit, just prepared for when we put in the highlighter. Something like that. It doesn't have to be perfect, just as a beginning. So then we have this highlighter right here, and I'm only going to do this purple highlighter. This one is I'm using on its own, so I'm just going to go ahead and scrape it out. I'm going to do the same as I did for the eyeshadow and try to go as evenly as I can and just try to scrape the top layer off. And I'm going to start like that and see how much product that is. Something like that. I think I need more highlighter than that, to be honest. I'm going to go ahead and do another layer. Okay, something like that. That looks definitely way more kind of lower down, more manageable. I'm going to go ahead and mix up these two shades and see what I have to work with. Alright, so that is pretty mixed up now, I think. Let me see how dark that is. Okay, that is actually a really pretty highlighter now. I'm going to compare it to the current highlighters for the base pigment. See if it's too dark. Maybe. It's a really pretty highlighter. I really like that now. You know what? I'm not going to put any more in because I'm really happy with that tone and I don't want to mess with it too much. So that is the highlighter in Franken. This is the highlighter below it in the palette as it is now. And let me like swatch this one on its own too. So you can see now that is like, sorry, that is way more purple. That is the Franken and that is the other highlighter. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I think press this as it is. I really like how it looks and hopefully that is going to be more usable for me. So we have that powder, it's all in now, this paper is clean. And again, I'm just going to go ahead with alcohol. I don't even know if I have enough alcohol in this little pipette, otherwise I'm going to have and get more. I do have more alcohol in this, but yeah, that's not going to be enough. Let me go and get some more alcohol and I will be right back. Okay, so I've gone back and I refilled this alcohol container, and I'm just going to go ahead and pour some more in. And I'm probably going to need quite a bit because there's quite a bit of product in here. I'm going to start with that much and see how it goes. I'm going to put in a tiny bit more. So there we have it, as even as I can get it. So I'm going to go ahead and use some paper again. I'm just going to gently press this down. Yeah. First try to remove some of the alcohol. And we have something like that. I'm really happy with how that looks. Of course it's wet still, so it looks a little bit darker. But I reckon that's going to be a really nice highlighter. It's quite a lot of product though in there. But I know it's going to be way easier to use than this highlighter on its own. And once this highlighter, like the Frankening highlighter, is done, I might even go into this Panda palette again and do the same with Fairy right there. That is something that I'm also thinking about doing for the remaining highlighter right there. But yeah, it's going to be quite a lot of highlighter to finish. Ultimately, I want to finish everything that is in this palette this year, so it's going to be quite a stretch, but I think Frankening it will make it easier. So yeah, I'm excited. Again, these are the two swatches of what I frankened. We have the eyeshadow right there and the highlighter. This is a bit more of a heavier swatch for the highlighter, but I'm excited. For now, the focus is still going to be this highlighter to finish in my product pan, but I will also make like a footage for both of these shades to track. But I mean, I think once this is done, I'm going to move on to probably focusing on this one more. But that is going to be it for this video today. This little frankening session is only two things that I did end up frankening, that highlighter and that eyeshadow right there. So these are my two franken shades. Really excited. Obviously they're not dry yet, so they're going to need some time to dry. But like I said, as soon as they're dry, I'm going to take some footage for my product pan video. So maybe I'll insert that here as well so you can see it. But yeah, I'm excited for how these two look, and I'm sure that I can get some more use out of these products this way. But like I said, I'm going to wrap up the video here. I hope you guys are having an amazing day wherever you are, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye bye!